Hello, sports fans. Welcome on in. It is the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell here on ESPN 792.1 FM. Proud to be a part of Utah's ESPN radio network and so proud to bring you this show. And so grateful and thankful that you tune in. I really appreciate it. Again, if you miss any part of it, don't worry about it. Just do that technology thing where you go to an app or you go where you download your podcasts or you go to .com apps podcast. That's where you go. It's ESPN 700 Sports app, ESPN700sports.com. And of course, you know, the podcast thing. Just search it down dirty. Anyways, fun show today. No, really. I say this every day, but it's every day. It really is fun. And it's fun because I love doing this. And I love sharing my insight and takes on some things that I think are awesome. And we have some really fun topics to talk about today. One thing I want to ask, so Martin's going to do a poll, and the poll is going to be, it's either yes or no, so it's not multiple choice. Well, maybe we can make it multiple choice. It's, do you want more regular season NFL games? Yes or no? Or do you like the current 17? Would you go back to 16, or do you want to go to 18 plus? Can we do that, Martin? Is that possible?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right. That's what we're going to do. So we'll give you multiple choice because it's easier that way. Or at least you can engage and stimulate your mind on just a little bit higher plane instead of just yes or no. And we're going to talk about that coming up. Because guess what? A lot of fans are kind of interested in that. We got some interesting headlines going on today. I think one of the the Utah Mammoth, they lost, and now we're kind of getting arrogant as a fan base. We're just saying, hey, well, like, you got to win every game, and so when they lose, it's kind of a disappointing thing. But they're right. They're right in the thick of it. They have paid Logan Cooley a whole lot of money for the next 8 years. So he got a nice contract extension or renewal, or anyways, he's getting paid, and he's a good player, so we like that. Last night, the World Series, the Toronto Blue Jays, they kind of stepped up and evened it up with the Dodgers. And again, man, if you get past the starters for the Dodgers, it's just hard. Bullpen's kind of a little shaky, but Shohei, I mean, it's just hard, you know. Let's go 2 games the night before and then come out and be the starting pitcher, you know, because he's a hitter as well, and he pitched well, but you wonder, you know. Of course, he did give up a home run to Vlad Guerrero Jr. And I don't know, it just felt like a little bit of a. It was kind of like one of these things. Well, if we win this game for the Dodgers, great. But, you know, the worst case scenario, we're still tied in this, and that's going to be a battle. It's really going to be a battle. It's going to. There's some folks who's going to step up here in the last 3 games to make this thing interesting. Not that it isn't, but I mean, who's going to win it? Okay, this is what I really want to get to. I really want to get to this, and I have a sound clip about it. Michael Jordan, of course, he was interviewed recently, and he is a staunch opponent of load management and thinks it just needs to go away. And guess what? I'm right. This was like music to my ears, and we're going to talk about it. So here's what Michael Jordan had to say about load management in the NBA today. I am so happy. When I woke up and I saw this morning, it just like made my entire day. My entire day. I had a rather heated conversation at one point with a very well-known local media person who is tied to the Utah Jazz, and I'll just leave it at that. And this individual said, "These players, we have to keep them around for all this extra time." And so load management keeps these players in the league for a long time. And that was the argument and for load management. It's like, oh man, these players are taxed too much today. And it makes me want to vomit. Seriously. These athletes today are so well trained, so well conditioned. Their bodies are so finely tuned. They have all of the latest, greatest research, data, technology, training methods, recovery methods that's ever existed in sports. And there's no way in the world, as Michael Jordan said, like, why do we not listen to Michael Jordan? Why would you not even like? It's like every word that came out of Michael Jordan's mouth should be like the rules and standards and practices and procedures of the NBA. Like Michael Jordan should just write them, and everyone should follow him. And this idea of, well, we're trying to preserve and have these players come along. Players continue to come along. Like there's a massive pipeline of players ready to play and be the next superstar in the NBA, and the guys that we're going to love and appreciate. So LeBron James, I thought about LeBron, and LeBron is a guy who is going to go down as one of the all-time greats. But you tell me, what have you missed in LeBron James' career over, like, let's say the last 5 or 6 years? Have we, Martin, I'm asking you this, have we really missed like championships, great runs? I don't know, anything. Have we really?
I wouldn't say no. I mean, we saw him score to 40,000 points. We saw him win the championships. We've seen him compete
Well,
in
I
the
mean, I'm talking about recent. I'm talking about the latter part of his career. Like at this point in his career, are we really going to miss LeBron James? Are
no,
we? Are we
no,
sitting here going, "Oh man, I'm going to be devastated if LeBron isn't playing anymore."
no. I'm not going to be devastated.
People are going to go next. Like to get. I
They
mean,
kind of
really,
already are.
what is load management? How many extra years does it really give you?
I,
A year, 2,
maybe.
3?
Yeah,
Really?
maybe.
I mean, look at how long Stockton and Malone played, and there was no such thing as load management.
Both of them played past 20. Both of them played
Like,
past 17 years.
yeah, it's long careers. And these guys go play basketball all the time. Like they're still playing basketball when they're retired. They don't know how to do anything else. They're just basketball players. It's like, yeah, we'll go play a pickup game here. I'll go play pickup games 2 or 3 times, 4 times a week, whatever. And so, but what I don't want, and it absolutely grates me, like beyond anything that I've ever experienced, is that these players sit out. And Michael Jordan said something. He says, like, I'm an entertainer. That's what my job. I'm here to entertain people. Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? And people pay tons of money, and they pay these salaries, and I don't get it. And I'm sitting here going, oh wow. Now, I remember the Golden State Warriors and the Utah Jazz actually were going to play them, and this has been some years ago. It's when they won championships or one of their championship years, the Warriors, and Steve Kerr just sat his guys. And I'm like, I would be so infuriated if I'm a fan and I go to that game and I'm expecting, I'm paying for seeing these great players. That's the entertainment that I've chose to spend my money at. And they don't show up. and they're touted, they're promoted, they're billed by the NBA that, hey, come see, Steph Curry. And hang on just a sec. I apologize. I had to sneeze and I hit the sneeze button. I'm allergic to load management, by the way. I'm starting to break out in hives. I'm getting chills. I'm sneezing because of load management. But here and Michael Jordan brings out this point. He's like, look, I I'm an entertainer, and I know whether it's home or it's on the road, whatever it is, I am going to show up for the fans. Think about how tickets are sold. Like a lot of people buy mini season packages. Like you go, I'll come to, I'm not going to come to all 40 games or 41 games or whatever, however many regular season games there are. But I'll come to 10. And you look at the 10 games and you go, well, which 10 do I want to go see? Now, I know you get a bundle like a certain time in the season, or maybe you get, and so you're always looking for, I want to see the great players when they come to Utah. Like, that's what I'm looking for. And I don't know how anyone could sit there and say that this is a good thing, that load management's a good thing. And if it's all about preserving careers, because that's the only thing that I've ever heard that this is why it's a good thing, is to help preserve and prolong these careers. And I'm like, for what, a year, 2, 3? And what is the guy in his last 2 or 3 years anyways? I mean, I don't know. LeBron's kind of injured right now and maybe he is, maybe he isn't. Maybe he's just sitting there going, it's October. Why am I playing a game in October at my age? Which brings me to my next point. If the season is so long and it's so grueling and it's so painful and it's so hard for these guys to show up, then don't have it as long. I mean, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Because it's like, well, we have to have a longer season because we got to find a way out to pay these players. Like, we can't pay them any other way. And, well, if you can't pay them any other way, then they need to show up for work. I mean, I'm flabbergasted by this. Hey, I just want to know, look, I'm going to do a radio show, but I'm going to do it. I'm probably going to do it just Tuesdays and Thursdays, or maybe Monday, Wednesday, and every other Friday, because, I'm on load management. Like, who gets to just say, yeah, I don't quite feel all that great for work today. And by the way, and who has a job that basically, let's see, June, July, August, September, we don't even work. These guys have school teacher hours. And the school teachers don't get paid anything. But, and the school teachers can go have a summer job if they want. These guys, they go off to Monaco and go on some yacht in the Mediterranean for 2 or 3 months. And they have to have load management during the season. And most basketball players are skinny, right? They don't have extra weight. They don't have, they can literally run forever. And how much do they really run anyways? Like during a game? Like, do you run like, oh yeah, let's call another timeout here, or there's a foul, or there's an out of bounds, or there's whatever. I mean, it's not like soccer. It's not like hockey. And hockey players, they're interchanging all the time and all that stuff. So basketball is burst and stop. And then some running and more running. With skinny guys. If these guys were big, if they were like sumo wrestler or big, giant offensive and defensive line guys trying to run up and down the court, yeah, there's load management because they are a load. No one in the NBA is a load. except for Zion. And see, Zion gets hurt all the time. And he probably still has load management. So I really believe there's a solution to this. I actually believe we can all play together and be happy. And the solution is to shorten the season or start it later. I mean, these players, they're fine. They still play basketball in the summer. And it would give people a reason to actually follow sports in the summer. Baseball goes through the summer. Start the season at Christmas. That's when people really start getting interested in the NBA. They have all their Christmas games, have the kickoff, the celebration of this amazing event in the history of the world, the birth of Christ, and start the NBA season at this is the birth of our season. And we're going to go through or extend the season, because it's like they have the season and then they have the playoffs, and the playoffs almost feel like a season. I mean, the playoffs start in April and they go into June. It's almost like 2 months of playoffs. 2 months of playoffs in the NBA. And I'm still trying to figure out why this early part of the season in the NBA is really important. Like what does it matter? It seems like the season kind of starts to matter after the All-Star game. And the All-Star game, which, by the way, is absolutely a joke. And if they learned something from NHL, and that is create a national pride type of event, and where it's like all the U.S. players against all the foreign-born players. And the foreign-born players probably kick the trash out of the U.S. guys right now. And you'll have team basketball, you'll have passing, you'll have setting screens, you'll have guys playing defense. Amazing concepts, by the way. And what you'll have on the U.S. team is individual effort, massive amounts of traveling, flopping, all the great, wonderful things that we love to see. So I am so glad that I woke up this morning and Michael Jordan, who is the NBA, who made it like Magic and Larry revived it, got it to the hospital, and Michael Jordan performed open heart surgery and brought life back into and really created this world phenomena of basketball. It was Michael Jordan. And Michael Jordan said, I played every night. And this whole thing just needs to go away. And he goes, and we know that here in Utah. Like I hated Michael Jordan, but I loved him. I gained so much respect for Michael Jordan in Game 5. I almost pulled for the Bulls. I didn't. I said I almost. I would never pull against the Utah Jazz. And I had to tip my hat to him. I had to tip my hat. I said, man, that is just a fierce competitor. And not that the Jazz, because the Jazz, those guys were extremely fierce as well. Stockton, all of them. They were warriors. Until Carl went and played for the Lakers one year, which we're going to forget. See, that's why you don't let players get late in their career, because then they go do dumb things like that. Get them out of the league before they go off and do something stupid. I mean, even Michael Jordan, when he went to Carolina, that was stupid. He didn't look good. At any rate, all right, let's take a break. We come back. We've got some crazy, crazy discussion here about what's going on in the NFL. And maybe this is the theme of the day, because maybe it's time to get rid of all the wokeness in sports, and load management is a woke move. Anyways, all right. We'll be back here shortly. This is the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell, ESPN 700 921 FM. Alrighty, sports fans, welcome back. It's the Down and Dirty here with Scott Mitchell, ESPN 792.1 FM. So glad you could be a part of our show today, and thank you for tuning in. We really appreciate it. Yeah, Logan Cooley, he got paid by the Utah Mammoth. $80 million contract extension. Of course, he's playing quite well. The Mammoth did lose last night to Edmonton, of course. It snapped a 7-game winning streak. Oh, you can't win them all, but man, you sure like to try. Okay, speaking of trying, and speaking of contract extensions, the Lions, of course, they gave a $180 million contract extension to Aiden Hutchinson, and you know, I love when folks, and again, this is all monopoly money, anyways. So it's like, and I don't know, all this just kind of makes me laugh. Because it's so arbitrary about how players get paid. And this was a 4-year extension for Lions Aiden Hutchinson. right? And he's a great player, right? Don't get me wrong. He's a very good player. He got injured last year, and it always makes you really nervous, right? Because, um, what happens when a guy gets paid and if he doesn't pan out or he gets injured or, and you certainly don't want to have that happen. Um, and a lot of players will, and it probably went away. I don't know where it is today, but used to have to get insurance. So you'd get a contract and you'd get an insurance by Lloyd's of London, and the premium on it was about $65,000 a year to guarantee your salary. And today, I don't think you have to do it because he's got a $141 million guarantee, which is insane. And so here's my math. Refresh your minds on math when you look at new contracts, right? So everyone says the dollar amount. Aiden Hutchinson, $180 million. And it's 4 years, right? So it's what? What is it a year? 4 years, I don't know. Six, what? No, 4. It's $40 million a year, basically. 46 million. Somewhere in that range. And that puts him up there like almost quarterback money. I mean, that's how valuable really good defensive ends are. And so, but okay, so you get 180 million, you go, well, it's $46 million a year, $45 million a year. And then what you have to do is you have to cut that in half. And so you go, well, it's $22.5 million. That's what he actually gets. And you go, why do you cut it in half? And you cut it in half because you get taxed from the federal government, from the state government, from the city government. They probably have a Detroit city tax. Then he gets taxed on pretty much every NFL city he goes and plays in. So he'll get taxed in Chicago, and he'll get taxed in Minnesota, and he'll get taxed in Wisconsin, and he'll get taxed all these different places. And then you have an agent. And it ends up being 50% of what you bring in goes out the door. Now, it's not a bad deal because he does have 22 million. So if you took the next 4 years, what he's guaranteed, because he's not going to see $180 million because they'll renew his deal in 4 years, and then they'll just extend it out, and he'll get paid again. But it'll be, or they'll go, yeah, he didn't really pan out for us, so thank you, no thank you, and bye-bye. So he has $141 million that's guaranteed to him. So that's 70,500,000, something like that. And that's what he gets after taxes, right? So no matter what happens from today forward, it's not a $180 million contract. It's a $70 million contract. And that's the money. And that's what it ends up. And you're like, and that's how I look at it. Everyone goes, oh man, he got paid. And you're like, and everyone thinks in their head, well, it's $180 million. And really and it is, I will tell you, it's one of the shocking things about all this, because you go, wow, man, I just got paid. And then you're like, oh man, I'm paying everybody out. And this is before this is stuff that like absolutely has to go, like taxes and agent fees and all that stuff. Like this isn't stuff you get to spend it on, which is worse for most guys. They spend it on stupid stuff. I think what did you say, Martin, today? It's like you buy a whole bunch of stuff you don't need. That's what rich people do. They just buy stuff that they don't need. And it's very true. So Aiden Hutchinson got paid $180 million, and it puts him right up there. I mean, Micah Parsons is at 46, which is the highest of anyone that's not a quarterback. Now, you remember Myles Garrett, right? He got paid just a little while ago. And what happens is it's like you want to be the guy that gets paid, but then the minute you get paid, you've now set the standard. And that's how contracts are based. But it's by position essentially. And where you fit in that position. So if you're a left tackle, you're going to get paid a lot. If you're a starting quarterback, you're going to get paid a lot, even if you stink. I mean, and stink's a relative word. So basically, if you look at like Sam Darnold had a rookie contract and he didn't do enough to get paid. Tua had a rookie contract and he did for whatever reason. And you ask me at this point in life, who's the better quarterback, Sam Darnold or Tua? And I think 100% of people say it's Tua. Or the same thing with Baker Mayfield. And maybe you could even argue Trevor Lawrence. Who's better between those two? Clearly Baker Mayfield at this point. Now, Baker Mayfield's kind of partially gotten paid. But it's a fine line between deciding on who to pay and who not to pay, and of course when to pay him. And so every position kind of has its kind of number, and it doesn't really matter how the production past the point. Like Zach Wilson did not do enough clearly to get that second contract because everyone wants the second deal. Like you come in as a rookie, it's like great, find him first round draft him, whatever. I just want the second deal. Brock Purdy, he was pretty miserable. Get that one. When he came in the NFL, he was Mr. Irrelevant, all that stuff, but he didn't care. He's just like, what do I have to do? How much do I have to show to get that second deal? And then there's guys like Kirk Cousins and the Washington Commanders just say, yeah, we're still not convinced. And so Kirk Cousins bet on himself. He said, fine, I'll come here for franchise tag. And then he kept doing it and he did it for a couple of years and off he goes. And to me, it's fascinating how they make that determination. Because you really have to wonder, do they really know what they're doing? And I would venture to say most of them, they don't. Now, the reality is I don't think they care. Right? I mean, they have to spend the money anyways. Like you're now the Cincinnati Bengals, they would try to talk themselves out of spending it. It's like, do we really have to spend money on players? Like, and it's like, yeah, that's the deal. That's the agreement. It's called a collective bargaining agreement, where the collective good of everyone involved here gets to share in the pie. And that's part of why you just have these dumb decisions, because they have to give out the money. Like it's not like it is not like on a total merit based thing. It's not like you're out in society and you're going, okay, I'm trying to get a job here, and I'm competing against other people, and I mean you are competing, but still, it's really at the discretion of the team who they decide to keep and and they just sit there and they go, oh, please work out, please. I hope this guy just pay, so they pay him, they make a decision to pay him, but then they're like, And there's also another factor into it that teams wonder about. And this one's always fascinating to me. Is it like, is he mature enough to handle this within the framework of, like, will he just quit? Now that he's gotten paid, he's just like, I'm not going to, like, there's no more motivation. Or, can the locker room handle this guy being paid? Because guys in the locker room go, what the freak, man? That guy gets all that money, and look at me over here. Why don't I get some of that money? And so there's it's not only just well, they deserve it, or that it's by position. It's like, I mean, in my era, Barry Sanders said, look, I want to be the highest paid player on the team no matter what. And running backs were handsomely paid, and Barry was one of the best players in the NFL. But position-wise, quarterbacks made more money. And it was a sore spot for, under those circumstances. And one that I don't want to talk about. No, but it's a real thing. Like, handling kind of the dynamics of the team and the person kind of go into when people get paid. So every time someone gets paid, this is the whole exercise that I go through in my head. Okay, well, it's half the money, but it's half of what is guaranteed. Because very rarely, rarely does a guy see the whole life of a contract. It's just not how the NFL financial world works. And they'll come to Aiden Hutchinson in 2-3 years. And if he's just tearing it up, then guess what? They're going to pay him more. And as long as you're tearing it up, and as long as you have a shelf life that goes beyond, 3 or 4 years, because the reality with the NFL, it's mostly a young man's game, believe it or not. It's a very young man's game. Now it's getting older, and it's getting older because they don't beat up on each other like they used to. They don't, like practices, training camp, even in games, very different. Which leads me to my next point. So a new Quinnipiac poll found that half of the NFL fans say the league is doing enough to protect players from serious injury. Most fans support expanding the season, 60%, including many who say the move, which would increase salaries, and it also is worth the increased risk of injury. So the people have spoken. And I'm a big proponent of this, believe it or not. And I played, and I'm still, and I'd get the heck beat out of me. Like when the season was over, it's like, whew, my body is sore. And it would take a good month before your body, you just go, oh, well, okay. I feel halfway decent right now. Right now, I don't feel halfway decent. I really don't. My body hurts. But at the time, it was like, I could certainly go and to get more money, right? Because then now see what they do is now the players get a longer season, and what do? They start load management again. They start being NBA players. But I'm a big fan of it, and the NFL is just awesome. Every week, even the sucky games are good. Like there's always intrigue with everything that's going on. Most of the league is still in the hunt. We're getting kind of about the midpoint of the season here, kind of the end of October. So we got November, December-ish, a little of January. So we're really close to the middle of the NFL season. And it's a huge disappointment when the NFL season ends. So maybe it does go into February, or maybe you started a little bit earlier. Really, at this point, it's like, come on. Do we really need a preseason? I'm thinking of this year's preseason. I don't know that I watched a minute of it. I don't know that I cared to watch any of it. It's just not. What I would do is I'd say maybe you have 2 games. I think they have 3 now. Maybe they have 2. I know what the NFL wants to do. They want to create, they want to have every NFL team go over to Europe and play at least a game. And I think that extra game is part of what they want to have happen. So I think I know the league wants this. There's no question about it. And I think if everyone had to go over and play at least a game in Europe, to me, that actually seems fair. because I really think it's a disadvantage for a team to have to travel over there and play. I think it's hard. I think and especially when you do it, I mean, if the league's wanting every team to go over there and play a game, that means someone's going to go over there in late December, and they're not going to like that because they're like, we're right in the hunt for the playoffs, and you're going to ship us off to Barcelona or to Germany or to England or to Ireland. Our backup quarterback might get mugged by someone over there. Anyways, I love the idea, and it's good to see that the fans love it too. I don't know that the players, some of them love it or not, but we need to toughen up these players. So make them play an extra game. That's what I say. Okay. Now, what I'm going to say next is I'm shocked by this. I'm shockingly impressed by this. Let's just put it that way. Lamar Jackson said no more games in the locker room. No more ping pong tables, no more televisions, no more video game consoles, no more basketball hoops. And it felt like, maybe this was like when Christ went into the temple and just cleansed it and got rid of the money changers who were in the temple. And he cleaned his house and he got rid of all of the evil doings that were going on. And I commend him. Oh my goodness. Cause I thought I just thought today, it's a generation. And so in a locker room, you're there all day. Okay. So you go in the morning and you have you'll have a meeting, you'll have a team meeting, and then you'll break out into offense and defensive meetings. Then you'll break out into position meetings. Then you'll have a walkthrough, and then you'll have lunch. Then you'll have some more meetings in the afternoon. And some of those might be special teams meetings, individual meetings, all different types of meetings. And then you have free time. So you'll have a meeting and there might be 10 minutes, 15 minutes, half an hour until your next meeting. So what do? Well, quarterbacks, you just have your head buried in, you're watching film, you're studying, you're kind of getting, because there's a lot to understand and to know. And then other positions like defensive linemen, like I seriously don't even know why they have a meeting. I'm going to go in that gap or that gap. I mean, that's all you need to know. I know there's more to it. I know that they read and study their opponent and look for tips and keys and all that stuff. And I know but generally they have some time, and defensive backs and wide receivers. And so Lamar Jackson said, none. We're out. We're behind the 8 ball here, and we need to get rid of these distractions. And he himself requested that all of it was taken out of the locker room. So do players screw around on their off time, downtime? Yeah. And there's part of it that you go, you need to be able to kind of blow off steam a little bit. You need to be, but when it becomes an obsession and when people are getting out of their meetings and they're racing to the game console so they can continue their game of Madden, it's a problem. We used to do, so Doug Peterson, who was a former, one of my teammates, and we used to make these baseballs out of tape. So they have the foam pre-wrap that so the tape doesn't stick on your ankles. And we would roll that up in a ball, and then we would take the tape and wrap it around and create a tape ball. And we got really good at these where they were pretty round. And then we would play home run derby in the locker room. And somehow we ended up with some wooden bat. And so we're on our downtime, we're out there playing home run derby. Like you see these wiffle ball people, only we're doing it in the locker room. And it was awesome, actually. And of course, Doug, he's he was the third string quarterback, and I'm the backup quarterback, and then I started playing in a wiffle ball game one way. So good for Lamar. That's why I think the Ravens are actually going to make the playoffs this year, and he's back this week. In fact, they play tomorrow. All right, let's take a break. We come back. I got a fun topic about food. They have new food for this season's NBA and NHL. You don't want to. This is hilarious. So, so stick around. You want to check this out. I got to tell you something though. My good friends at Weight Vision. Oh man, they don't have games. They don't have games in their office. They have equipment, and it's amazing. And they do these full workups on you when you come in to check out what issues you have with your eyes. And they do all types of vision correction surgery. I had a refractive lens correction surgery. I always have a hard time saying that. It's not that difficult. And it was amazing. 15-minute procedure. I was awake for the procedure. They swapped out my lens for another one. It's crazy. Oh, but it was very impactful. And I can't even describe how well I see now. I used to, really struggle to just try to focus, and I still, things were blurry. Now I just look at things, and it's like, oh wow, I can read that, I can see that. It's just amazing. They will take care of you. Whatever you need, they will do a phenomenal job. So go check them out. Waitevision.com, WAITE vision.com. This is the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell, ESPN 791 FM.
I'm trying to do the math. So we have 90 seconds. Yeah, so we back in 1 minute and 30 seconds. So 10:50. So it means you got to be out by 10:57. So yes, yeah, we have 7.5 minutes. But yeah, yeah, 10:57. I'm trying to do the math. That's all. Yeah, yeah. So 10:57, boss. But I like your segment. That was good. Like the Michael Jordan one was a fun one, but that Lamar Jackson one. I was gonna ask you. We can do this on the second show. What was the first locker room to have that TV and stuff? Because you didn't have him at the Dolphins. You didn't have him at the Lions. Was it the Bengals or the Ravens? Like a legit TV, like in all that setup, like not just like a TV to watch some of the coverage. Yeah, Ravens, Bengals. Oh yeah, that had to be the Bengals.
Every facility I was in until I got to the Bengals was their old facility.
Mm,
So the Lions were in the Silverdome, and our locker room was our game.
mm,
Which all of them did. Like they have,
yeah,
and at the time it was like, whoa, this is amazing and nice, but it was nothing.
yeah. Sorry to cut it short. I got to put it back in here. We got to go.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome back. Oh, it's Down and Dirty here on ESPN 792 on FM. I love food. You know who I don't really have an affection for is Warren Sapp. Man, he is a sap. Come on, Warren. Uh, he just does some punky things from time to time.
Are you talking about when he
And
knocked over the goal
yes,
line
when
cones?
he kicked the cones over. Like, what are you doing? Like, it's not. It's this is the field setup. It has nothing to do with your opponent. It's as bad as Caleb Williams putting Utah on his fingernails. Like sometimes you just do really dumb things, and Warren Sapp does dumb things, and that was a punk move.
Hey, Karma came back to get him. I mean, his defensive line gave over 300 yards rushing, so
Yeah,
it didn't really work.
exactly. And I don't, clearly people saw it. And it was brought to my attention. I was listening to this, or really watching it with Eric Weddle. He was on some podcast somewhere, and they and he was commenting about this. Warren Sapp kicking the cones over, and they're the end zone markers, right? And and the thing about it is he just kicked him over. And what made it worse is Coach Prime went and picked him back up and put him back in place, which that is just that's bad. That's just bad. That's really bad. That's the worst look you could possibly have. Oh shoot, here Warren Sapp made a mess. Let me go clean it up. Like I shouldn't have to go clean up your messes. And he, no wonder Colorado's where they are. But at any rate, yeah, Warren Sapp. I've known Warren Sapp for a long time, and I've just seen Warren Sapp just do some really stupid things. And I'm not. And anyways, I just shake my head. Well, here's something that will cheer you all up. So they have some amazing food that is themed food for NHL and NBA arenas. So this is the arena, and isn't that as big a part of why we go to sporting events is the food, right? It's like this. It's the coolest thing. Like when I was 10, I went to an NFL football game, Houston Oilers, Pittsburgh Steelers in the Astrodome in Houston. At the time, I mean, I'm just telling you, this was a big deal. The Astrodome, eighth wonder of the world. It was just the coolest place in the world, and they had nachos. Now you go, well, nachos are boring with the cheese and all that stuff. And it was basically invented in the Astrodome. And that's all I cared about. It's like, give me more nachos. So I think maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just because I like food. I don't know. So so I want to tell you some of the food here, and it's incredible. So they have crispy mozzarella pucks at the Chicago Dish for Blackhawk games. And they look like a puck, but it's mozzarella. Now, the San Jose Sharks, they have a chum bucket. Now you know what a chum bucket is. It's like a bunch of like little pieces of fish innards and chopped up things that you throw in the water, and it's smelly and all this stuff. And it's designed to chum up the fish. Well, sharks, whatever. So it's buttery popcorn, strawberry Pop Tarts, teal chocolate, red chocolate, and freeze dried strawberries. So it's like it's a bucket of popcorn essentially with all the crazy things in it. Now our local Utah Jazz, guess what the Jazz have? They have a donut, and it's not any ordinary donut. It's the Note. So I wonder how much, because Ryan Smith, he's a BYU guy. It almost feels like this is the Utah Jazz's version of a cougar tail. So they're kind of, because cougar tail is just a big old long maple bar, right? It's just, and it's got a density to it. That's because I had a cougar tail at the game, BYU Utah game, First one I've ever had, by the way. And it wasn't bad. Games sucked, but the Cougar Tail was okay. Anyways, the Jazz Note, it's a donut. And I guess it's purple, and the note part is kind of looks like a basketball that's purple. Here's one. The Orlando Magic have a UFO burger. Now, I don't know where the UFO burger kind of fits into it's almost like you need a waffle with Mickey Mouse ears if you're Orlando. That's what I would go with if I was there. Let's see what else is good. Okay, so the Cleveland Cavaliers have a Pop-A-Tot loaded tater tots. They come with barbecued beef brisket, crumbled bacon, white cheddar sauce, Southwest ranch, and chopped scallion served in a special box, which actually looks like it's like got a little basketball thing there. Anyway. All right. It's almost lunch. Go to your local sports arena and get you a Jazz Note donut. Tell me how it is. Thank you for tuning into the show today. Had a phenomenal day. So much fun. We will catch you tomorrow. So this has been the Down and Dirty with Scott Mitchell here on ESPN 700, 92.1 FM. Of course, Sean O'Connell's next. Until then, we'll see you then.
All right, Scott, I'll connect with you in the other studio, buddy.